Welcome to Jets Rewind. I'm Marty Schupak. I'm in Valley Cottage, New York. I'm joined by my two very close and dear friends, Ray Clifford, who's in Marysville, Ohio, just on the outskirts of Columbus, and Ralph Sharega, who's up in Belmont, Mass, right on the outskirts of Boston, right near the Charles River. Ray, how are you doing?
Just waiting for more Jets news to come out and just see what else could go
There you
awry.
go.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just is the weather as thick and hot as it
Ooh,
is in the east here?
yeah,
It's the last couple of days have been brutal.
brutal. Just had some major thunderstorms the other day. And
Oh, okay. And how
it's,
about you, Ralph? I know after we're off the air, Ralph, I'm going for a general swim if it doesn't rain. How you do?
Yeah, it's hot here, but tomorrow I'm heading up to northern Maine, so it'll be a lot cooler.
Yeah. Ray, I got to tell you, I've been married 45 years, but I somehow I think Ralph does it right. He was married. He's not married now, but every time he gets a girlfriend, they have a house in New Hampshire or a house in Maine.
Well,
It's just
next time it's got to be Vermont then.
Vermont, my second favorite state in the union. Anyway, this is about the New York Jets. Jets Rewind. We're heard over all your regular platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcast, iTunes, all that good stuff. But we also want you to go to Schupak Sports because that is the YouTube channel where you can see how three good looking guys are. But I'm going to start. Ralph's going to have a trivia question. But before we do, I just a little bit of house cleaning, as I like to say. As everyone knows by now, the Jets signed veteran kicker Nick Folk, and we'll see what he has left in him. They also signed a running back, Lawrence Tuafili, an offensive lineman, Liam Fortadell, who's interesting. I looked him up. Cornerback Ryan Cooper Jr., and also they released kicker Caden Davis and punter Kai Kroger. Guys, I think they got it wrong on the punter. I think they should have kept him for one.
I was
Yeah.
about to bring that up later in the show.
Jeez.
I don't know why they pulled the trigger so quickly on him. He wasn't that bad. It's
I
really.
I mean, they got Nick Falk is 40 years old. I mean, what's your feeling, Ray, about our kicker, what's his name again? That we let go, Homestead. What's his name?
Morstead.
Morstead. What was your feelings, Ray?
He wasn't as good last year as he was the year before, but he was steady. I would have been okay with keeping him, but I don't see what the other guys are doing that has them interested. I like Morstead, but I don't think last year he was uh, as much a weapon as he was the year before.
He wasn't, no doubt about that. He was still effective, though.
Well, I tell you, a new regime coming in here and just adding the fact that you got to get new kicker and punter, that makes it so much tougher. The
Yeah.
thing about kickers is and punter, you just never know what you're going to get. And with Morstead, at least we knew we'd get something relatively professional. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wasn't he in, was he in New Orleans with Glenn at all? Wasn't he in New Orleans?
I'm not sure if they crossed paths there. That's a good
Yeah.
question.
That is a good question. They might have. And
I
You
would
ever
quick,
think it's
seen that? Somebody picked him up, didn't
yeah,
they?
somebody picked him up. I would give
Quickly. Yeah.
off, was it San Francisco? Every time somebody picks up a jet, I say it's the 49ers, but I don't think
Yeah.
it was them. But we'll see. Just quickly, Ralph, before we do your trivia questions, you know, um, Nick Falk, who I never thought they should have let him go. I just thought he was like, it's a little too little, too late right now. But I was doing some research before we came on, and apparently, his last 3 years, 22 in New England, he was 86.5% accuracy field goals. 23 in Tennessee, 96.7 accuracy in field goals. And last year, 95.5%. So I'm just curious. And his lifetime, by the way, I think it is 84.3. So the last 3 years, I know age is a factor, but I'm wondering if there was a demand for him we don't know about, and the Jets maybe lucked out. I'm not quite sure. What's your take on that, Ray, picking him up?
I loved it. I mean, he has been solid the last 3 years, definitely. I've been, well, I saw him kill us against New England when we played New England a couple times, or he hit some late field goals, big ones. But I liked him all along. I didn't think he was so bad we should move on, but after sometimes it's just a thing over time. You start thinking it's time for a change, but
Yes, the grass is always greener. They have that mentality sometimes. I think they
Right.
did that with Morstead. Yeah.
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 And we're gonna get to him. Ralph has that on the agenda, the second thing. But so I'm gonna skip over Ralph and go right to the trivia questions. Then we're gonna talk about. You'll start on Nick Falk. But go ahead, Ralph. What's this
Well,
last
we got some kicker questions because of the kickers are top of the priority list right now as far as conversation goes. We all know what Jet kicker played the most games for the Jets. Obviously, it was Pat Leahy. Who was second? What kicker has played the second most amount of games with the Jets? And bonus question: what punter punted more games with the Jets than any punter?
Hmm. All right, we're gonna come back to that at the end, Ralph.
Yeah,
Sorry to let me
I'll be
forget.
here.
I hope you're there. All right. I'll have a quick trivia in a little while. One of my quick trivia questions that we answer right away. But anyway, Ralph, we're talking about Nick Falk, and you very appropriately put on the agenda. What's the percentage chance that Nick Falk is our kicker this year? Now, with that said, Ralph, what is the name of the other kicker, the big guy, the heavy guy?
Anders Carlson. Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised that they kept him and they let go of the other guy.
Yeah, I don't know much about the other guy. I thought
Caden
Carl.
Davis. Caden
Yeah,
Davis, who I
I
think
thought.
was really good in college.
Yeah, I thought Carlson at the beginning when he was with the Jets looked pretty good. Then he tailed off a little. What's he in his late 20s? So maybe there's something there with him. As far as Falk goes, you were right, Marty. The statistics say that he's still kicking at a very high level. He's 40 years old though, as we saw with Zerline. At that age, it can go any second. But I think there's probably a 50-50 chance that he's maybe even 60-40 that he'll be our place kicker this year.
I think you're right. I think because of his experience, that he might have the upper hand. Again, I would have loved to have found out if he was in demand at all, or if it was just the Jets and nobody else. Ray, what? How about you? What do you think the chances of Nick Falk sticking as our kicker?
Was going to say 60-40 probably. I think he's definitely, to me, the favorite. If he kicks, in the training camp, anything like he did the last few years, I don't see any reason they wouldn't keep him. And he's still got the leg to hit. He might not hit 55 yarders, but I'm more concerned about guy being consistent inside of 50. If he's money inside of 50, that's
Yeah, and
gonna
hitting
make it.
his extra points too. Yeah.
Yeah. As far as Zerline, he's always been that way though, where he'll have a great year and then he'll just
Uh,
stink it up a year or two
Right,
later.
right.
So I'm not as surprised about him. I think Folk's a little more consistent. He had a little stretch there when he was originally with Dallas, but he was coming off an injury and he was kind of iffy. I think that's right before he came to the Jets the first time
yep.
Right.
was after Dallas, and that was. But I thought that was a lot to do with whatever that injury was. I don't remember if it was a hip or a leg, but I think
Yeah.
that screwed him up for a while.
While we're on kickers, and we're gonna get off that in a second. I just want to ask you each. Everything that the Jets have been through, like the last 3 to 5 years, and I believe since COVID, they expanded the practice squad roster or whatever they call it. I think it's still in effect. Is it worthwhile of keeping a punter and a kicker as one of the positions on the practice squad? Ralph.
Yeah, I mean, if you think you got someone who's got potential, definitely. Yeah. I wouldn't just keep a body there, but actually, it's funny you say that because another bonus trivia question I had was um, in the Jets Super Bowl year, one of their starters was actually once asked to place kick in an emergency situation. He kicked an extra point. You can try and guess that one at the end of the show too.
That's a good question. Yeah. Okay. How about you, Ray? What do you think about a spot on the practice squad or a COVID squad? I don't remember. Or maybe you guys know how many spots it is. Was it like 12 or 13? Do you think?
It's definitely more than it was, which makes it more likely if they wanted to that they would. I think before when it was less players, probably a lot less likely. But and I'm not big on keeping one unless you're really not sure about what you got. I mean, you if you have somebody you like as a DB or a lineman or something like that, I'd rather keep them than a kicker.
Right. Just so you guys know, I'm reading now, it says 17 players. 10 player
Wow.
must have two or fewer accrued NFL seasons. Six players can be veterans with no limitations. One player must be from the International Pathway League. And the Jets do have one on that. I know
Oh,
that.
do they? And
Yeah.
what about, isn't there one special spot for Tanzel Smart? Doesn't he get his own spot?
Yeah, I know. Tanzel Smart. What do we have? A few other guys that,
Life for its designation.
yeah, it's unbelievable. All right. Anyway, so I think they'll keep one of those guys, but we'll see. You know, the Jets, they re signed, as we know, Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. And I love the Garrett Wilson signing. I'm not crazy about Sauce Gardner. But Sauce Gardner is a phenomenal talent, phenomenal number one receiver.
Oh, Garrett Wilson, you
Oh, sorry,
mentioned
Garrett Wilson. Who did I say?
Sauce Gardner.
Sauce Gardner. Yeah, Garrett Wilson. But the question is, and I always have a fear about who's going to be the number two receiver. And Ray, I want to start with you because, this time of year, you hear all these different things. They drafted this guy, I guess, in the fourth round. They have other guys on the squad from last year. And I'm just afraid. I always think to myself, the best player at a certain position, either offensive, defensive line, or receiver, if something happened to him, where would that stick us? But Ray, what are your thoughts on the number two receiver?
Isn't Lazard still with us? Isn't
Yeah.
He is.
Thank
he
goodness,
may
huh?
end up being the guy. Hard to believe it, but um, they definitely need to make sure they have somebody who's on the other side that's gonna, you know, bring some attention because Garrett, as good as he is, I'm not sure he's gonna be great if he's against double team all year, with nobody to really kind of take some of that pressure off him. So that concerns me a little, just who they had. It doesn't seem like they have the depth going in that I would have liked.
Ray,
But
can I interrupt you just for a second? I just want to go through the names. I'm sorry, then we'll go right back to you. Garrett Wilson, Josh Reynolds, Alan Lazard, Malachi Corley,
oh,
Ty-
there it is.
Tyler
No,
He's a
John,
forgotten
I
man.
say
Tyler Johnson, Arian Smith, Xavier Gibson, Jamal Pritchard. Ralph, aren't we missing someone from that list? Who was the guy we liked last year in preseason?
Uh, Jamar Chase, yeah.
Not
yeah.
Jamar Chase. There was another Smith, I think.
Uh, gosh, I don't know.
He had a great anyway. So those are
Oh, Brandon Smith. Yeah, yeah,
Brandon
yeah.
Smith. He should be there too, which I really like.
I actually thought I'd heard something about him early in camp. Yeah, maybe it's not a complete list.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
wouldn't it be nice if he came
Yeah.
around?
And just so you know, Ralph, Jamal Pritchard, I gave Ray some homework. He's going to get into this guy because I really like him. And I think
Oh,
you,
I agree. I
yeah.
like him too, but I like
So,
him better than
yeah.
Gibson.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Ray,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Back to you. So I don't know if you could recollect the list I just read, but I mean, I've heard different things like Josh Reynolds is like leading the pack. But what are your thoughts now on this?
Um, it's hard to say, but yeah, that could be it. The one who interests me out of that list, other than Pritchett, who would be a surprise, but I agree with Ralph after I was watching him. He does to me. Gibson better watch it. He better have a good camp, or I think he'll be out. But they were talking a lot about Arian Smith after around draft time, after we took him and stuff. And I don't know enough about him, but he might be somebody to keep an eye on. Um,
He's dropping balls though, just like college.
I haven't heard him peep about him. Have you?
Yeah,
no,
he started out good, but yesterday, I think the day before, he dropped the pass. Yesterday, he dropped the pass right in his hand. So I just think a lot of times these guys that don't have good hands in college, it's not a rule of thumb, but generally they just don't develop good hands in the pros. But Ray, one other thing, because I've been on this soapbox for a while. I don't think he's signed yet. Could you ever see them signing like an Amari Cooper as a number two receiver?
I wouldn't count it out, but I don't think they'll go that route unless none of these guys pan out, or unless they can, figure a way to trade Lazard for him somehow. Get Lazard off the team. I don't think that's going to happen though.
No, he's got guaranteed. All right, Ralph, what's your feeling in number two receiver right now?
Yeah, I think it's really a grim situation, actually. I think they're trying to pump up Tyler Johnson. I heard the other day Aaron Glenn talking him up. Um, I never would have thought about Amari Cooper before, but the way things are sort of evolving, he might, if
They're
they can get him at a reasonable price. Arian Smith, to me, he's this year's Malachi Corley. I think it's a waste of a pick, and
might be. I don't know. I just would like to, it's I never really put too much into what I hear coming out of camp because right now they're pretty much everything's scripted. They aren't really facing a defense. They know what's coming. They know what's,
uh,
it's the scrimmages tell us more than the
but
practices do.
Marty, what you said about what's really scary is like you said, if Wilson gets hurt, then like it's
Oh,
amateur time.
it's
So yeah, I do think they really do need another legitimate professional wide receiver, unless you think that Alan Lazard is. I personally think a possession receiver with bad hands is a joke. If you got a guy who's going to hit some home runs occasionally, you live with it.
that's
But I mean, the possession receivers are a dime a dozen.
Ralph, is that like a blind traffic cop? That's what it is. Okay, while we're talking about receivers, I got to tell you, because I'm on Twitter all the time, and I get all these jet feeds. And whoever it was, sent me a feed, and I see a guy in the sidelines, and he does one of these double flips, just like Ozzie Smith used to do when he ran out to shortstop for the St. Louis Cardinals, one of my favorite all-time players. And I said, "Oh my God, this guy's unbelievable." So I look up the guy's number. I forget what it was now, 35 or 38, whatever it was, and it's Jamal Pritchett, who Ralph spoke about in detail before the summer, and I kind of liked him too. So, Ralph, I had told Ray if he could do a little homework, give us a little background on Jamal Pritchett. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Ray, and then we'll talk about this guy.
All right. Some of the basics, 5'8", 175 pounds. So he's not a huge guy, not really tall. That's why, Gibson's a good comparison for him. He's got a similar set of skills like him. His 40 time, which I never put much into, is 4.42 officially. He did it unofficially. They had him at 4.39. To me, all that stuff's fine and good. I just need to see how fast they are when they're on the field. But his senior year was a breakout year. He had 91 catches, like 1,100 and some yards receiving.
He went to what, Southern Alabama or Alabama State?
South Alabama.
Right,
Tuskegee his first year, and
right.
he South Alabama, and did better and better every year. Most of the highlights I watched, uh, hard to gauge him as far as his route running skills, as far as getting open and stuff, because he was always open, which is usually the case if you're far better than the talent you're playing against. So a lot of the catches he was open, but he did show good hands on a few catches. He caught one up high at the sideline between two guys. He made a couple of diving catches, so he's got good hands, and I like that. Good in open field. they usually get him the ball, and he's good at, following his blockers or making guys miss in open field. So he had a lot of pluses, and that's why I thought he reminded me a lot of what I think Gibson did to a point, but I think he showed more talent than that for Gibson. He's pretty quick. Not the biggest guy, so he's not going to break a bunch of tackles and run guys over. But he definitely is somebody who, and eventually he didn't return a lot of punts or kicks, but they did show him returning a couple, and he did look like he has the ability if they wanted to try and turn him into a kick returner, he might be effective there as well. But other than that, I'm not sure how he'd be. I'm not sure how that stuff will translate against NFL
Right.
DBs, but
Yes.
he definitely shows he's
Right.
got something going on there.
Ralph, I want your comments, but before I just wanted to answer two questions. The great Dan Marino had two receivers they used to call the Marx brothers, Mark Clayton
There's
and Mark Duper.
Smurfs were no, the Smurfs were
But yeah,
Washington. These,
yeah.
yeah,
Do you
Mark,
remember? I'm trying to get a comparable. How tall Clayton and Duper were for Marino? Any idea?
5'9", 5'10", would you say, Ray? Something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, they were probably around, yeah, anywhere
Okay,
That
five,
was
10.
50 or 40 years ago when the
right.
players weren't quite as big. But
And Ralph, how tall is Tyreek Hill? Is he 5'10"?
yeah, he might be at best 5'10". Yeah, he's
Okay.
like,
Right. All right, Ralph, why don't you give us thoughts on this Jamal Pritchett, if you want to add anything?
no, I think Ray pretty much covered. I kind of like him. He looks like he has potential. So we're entering year three for Gibson. I don't know if it was the fact that they just didn't know how to use him or didn't use him correctly, but he didn't really take a step last year. I think it'll be nice for Pritchard to push Gibson, and the better man will win. But either way, these guys are really slot guys, I think, and
Yeah,
we still
Right.
haven't solved our problem on the other side of Garrett Wilson.
no,
But yeah, it'll be nice to have someone with a little giddy up, and they have to take advantage of him. And then, of course, there's the 500-pound gorilla in the room, Malachi Corley. What happens with this guy this year? I mean, this is like going to be the biggest mystery. It's really
Well,
fascinating.
if
yeah,
if the one
better
good
show
part,
something.
Ralph, is that if they really don't see anything in him because it's a new regime, they'll just
Yeah,
cut him.
They'll
yeah,
just,
yeah,
If it was the old regime, they wouldn't cut him right away. But
yeah. True. Okay.
so I think that'll be it. We'll see. I really like this guy. I'm excited to see how he does. And as we all know, some guys play bigger than they are. He's 5'8". He might have a bigger catch radius and really play like a 5'10", 5'11" guy. We'll have to see. Aaron Glenn is his rookie year. And I question is, do you think if the Jets are win under 5 games, does he get a pass this year, Ralph?
Yeah, I think he does. I don't think it's necessarily should be the case, but I think some of it will have to be with how professional the team looks. Do they have some tough losses where they play well? I mean, if they look like a disaster, they're and they don't look like a professional team, then I don't think he should get a pass. But I think because he is a former Jet legend and it's his first year, he's got a quarterback who hasn't really shown a lot in his career. It's kind of a mystery. So yes, I do think he'll get a pass.
How about you, Ray?
yeah, I can't see him. How many wins were you saying? Five?
Well,
Five,
under five, yeah,
under 5.
I still think they stick with him. I would be shocked if they got rid of him, even if it was, only two or three again, just because it's a new regime, it's new coaches.
yeah.
I mean, I think everybody'd be massively disappointed if it was that bad. But I think I just would be shocked if we don't do better than that. But I think he's got this year to figure things out for anything he needs to fix next year. I can't imagine unless he went one win or something like that. I can't see him being canned.
Right, right. I think you're right. Um, we're gonna do an over. Is this the only over under, Ralph?
Yeah, yeah. I figure we'll start slowly.
Okay. Over under Justin Field, 3,000 yards. He,
That's just passing. Yeah, forget
yeah,
about the running. It doesn't.
I don't think, I think it's going to be under. I really do. How about you, Ray?
Well, the hard part is the receiver situation right now, not knowing how these guys will go. So, um, I, part of me says because he's uh, so much more mobile and able to throw on the run than our past couple quarterbacks, that he might be able to create some stuff and make some plays. So I'm going to try and be a little confident that he might just crack 3 grand, not by a lot though.
Yeah. While we're on him, I just want to, uh, oh, Ralph, did you give me your answer?
No, I
Oh, go
didn't.
ahead, go. I'm
Just
sorry.
for context, I think his second year with Chicago, he had about 25, a little over 2,500, but he had better receivers, I believe. Um, I guess the old saying is if the offensive line is pretty good this year, and I think he will just barely make 3,000. Uh, but that's the big if. So I have to say I came up with a tough number.
You did.
Uh,
It's a
yeah,
good number too. It really
yeah.
is. Go ahead, Ray. What were you saying?
I agree. The offensive line is also the key because, even if the receivers on the other side of Wilson aren't great, if they can give him protection, I mean, I think still they can make it work, and that will be part of it too, is not just the receivers, but mainly the line and how much he has to run for his life.
But I have to say, Marty, that in
Go
this
ahead.
day and age, playing 17 games, if you're a quarterback starting 17 games for a team, there's absolutely no excuse for you not to get 3,000 yards. I
Right.
Yeah.
mean, it's ridiculous, but I don't know. I don't even think Rogers, did he make it last year? I don't think so.
I'm not sure. I didn't even want to look. I didn't even want to know. I couldn't, I couldn't
Want to
care less.
protect.
Oh no, we bring up Rogers' name. They got the $50 now that Zach Wilson is not going
I can't even think about that. But talking about Justin Fields, and I want to ask you both. You're probably going to agree with me. I mean, you might have to. We might overlap. You might add something. My biggest concerns watching this guy, and I know Ray probably saw him play every game at Ohio State, but my biggest concern right now is number one, him holding the ball too long, not processing what's open or anticipating what's going to be open. And he's an incredibly great runner. And my other concern is him bailing out too soon out of the pocket. So I wanted to ask Ralph, do you have any, could you add anything to that as a concern for him?
No, I mean those are concerns, but I almost feel like bailing out for him as long as he's going to go north south. Unlike Zach Wilson, we used to run in circles, but
Right.
maybe it's the best thing to happen with Justin Fields if he still is not processing quickly. This is what his fourth year or fifth year in the league. I've lost track. But
This is for 4.
I think
for
four.
Was
And
it 2 in Chicago, 1 in Pittsburgh?
I
or
think
three in
that was the two
Chicago.
Chicago, one in Pittsburgh. And as everyone always, we always hear over and over ad nauseum, he was 4-2 in Pittsburgh when he was benched. We never got the word why he was benched. We never will. I just find that very, very interesting too. Benching a guy like that, unless, Tomlin gave an oral promise.
I think it's their fifth year because I remember Zach Wilson had 3 years with the Jets, right? And then they last year he was
That's right, because we thought he was going to be. We thought we might get rid of him, and then or he was going to be
Rogers.
picked up
Yeah.
all year to Rodgers, and then wasn't. So
So and they're the same draft class. So I think this is his fifth year. I think he had three in
yeah, I think you're right.
Chicago.
He must have.
Marty's looking it up in real time, and
I am. I mean, my new best friend is all these AIs
oh
that
yeah,
I go
I
to for everything. If they tell me when I have to go to the bathroom, and
I asked one the other day, what percentage of the questions you ask AI are incorrect? And they said 22%.
there's a
So
lot. I could tell you. There
I
are a
see.
lot.
So, yeah.
They're
Oh,
wrong. You just put in, go to any of these AI, just type in, give me 20 Jets trivia questions, multiple choice, and wait till you see what you got. I think like 15 would be right. But anyway, He played for the Bears 21, 22, 23, and the Steelers last year. So that's right. He's 4 seasons in the NFL.
So this is his fifth year. He should be able to read defenses quicker by this point in his career.
I think guys either have it or they don't, Ralph. I
I
see.
don't know. I mean, look, Darnold probably got a little better at it. Geno Smith got a little better. I think they do. Some guys, I think everyone's got a different learning curve. Some guys step right in, like Joe Burrow, and their immediate successes, and some guys it takes a while longer. Some guys it never happens, so maybe it won't happen with him. But
Right. I want to ask Ray, if you could go back in your mind at all, if you remember, I'm guessing you see every play or most of the plays, Ohio State being out near Columbus. Was there anything that you thought was negative when Justin Fields was the starting quarterback there? Any
Uh,
negative
and
parts?
early on, they thought he ran too much, and he was pretty inconsistent his first year. I mean, he was a transfer from Georgia, mind you. So um, when he got up there, but I think there are a couple of things you got to keep in mind about him, both college wise and in the NFL. As far as college wise, he he had NFL receivers all around him his whole career there. I mean, they just bring in
Oh yeah,
used to
yeah.
be quarterback U was Miami. Well, wide receiver U is basically what Ohio State is now. I mean, they come in there one after the other. I mean, this Jeremiah Smith that last year he isn't eligible to go to the pros, and this guy's. I mean, he's all world. If he isn't the number one overall pick, I'll be, and barring injury, obviously could change all that, but that guy's just going to be
is he going to
unbelievable.
come out next year? This year?
I,
I think he might need another year. He was a real true freshman last year, wasn't he?
That's
gotta
what
go.
Ray said. I think yeah. So I'm not
He,
sure, but that guy
He,
he's like from a different planet. I've
he's
never seen anything
yeah,
like it.
unbelievable physical specimen, and he's one of these guys who really works hard. He's not just relying on his natural abilities. So
Right.
Olave, he had Wilson, he had all these receivers that
Jameson Williams for a bit, I believe,
Jameson,
but
who
um,
couldn't crack the starting lineup and went to Alabama. And
yeah,
Did
the
he bring Ohio State back, Ray? Justin Fields, do you remember any huge games where they might have been down? Could you think of, or maybe Ralph, you might
yeah,
reckon?
they were so much better than everyone else, except for one or two games a year. And he
yeah,
struggled in those against Indiana. He struggled, I think, in the championship Big Ten against was Wisconsin, or I
no, they
can't remember.
destroyed Wisconsin.
It was
Yeah,
so it was his second year.
Right.
Um, uh,
yeah.
and but he had the great game against Clemson in the
Yes.
playoffs.
Yeah.
But that wasn't a come from behind thing.
Right.
But
Yeah. All right. Listen, we're Jet fans are not patient, but with this we have to be, and we have no choice. Just so Jet fans know, our first preseason game is August 9th. I think it's a Saturday against the Packers, 8 o'clock. Oh, I can't stand that time at night. So that, we'll
no,
see.
you're already
That's
tucked into bed.
I am. It's a week from Saturday, but we'll see. But now I just want to squeeze in my quick trivia question and see. Let's see if I can articulate it right. The most consecutive seasons leading the Jets in rushing, so the most years in a row. I'm going to give you the top three. I'm not going to give you the how many consecutive seasons because I think that'll help with the answer. Then it's a tie for number four. So let me explain it again.
You
The
lost me at the middle.
most consecutive seasons a New York Jet is
Yeah.
leading the Jets in rushing. So he's on the Jets, nothing to do with the league championship, leading. So in other words, the number one is Curtis Martin. I'm
Yeah, I
not going to tell you
figured
how
that.
many consecutive years. Number two is Freeman McNeil. I'm not going to tell you how many years. Number three is Matt Snell. Okay, now for number four, there's a tie between two players. See if you can name me the two players and how many consecutive seasons they led the Jet in rushing.
Thomas Jones. Uh,
Adrian Morrell.
yeah, I was going to say him.
You both got it. Amazing. Very good. I knew it. I know I'm a better trivia question finder than answerer. Curtis Martin had 8 consecutive years, 98
I
to
say 7.
2005. Freeman McNeil, 5 consecutive years, 81 to 85. Matt Snell, 4 consecutive years, 64 to 67. Thomas Jones, boy, we didn't
Three.
appreciate him enough, you know?
Yeah, I
2007,
guess
2007,
Had a really
2009.
good
he
offensive line.
wasn't a spectacular runner, but
No, but
he
he
was
he
just
he
solid. Yeah,
he ran hard
yeah,
every
yeah, yeah. He
play.
did
My God,
between the
it's like
tackles. Yeah.
I was afraid for the defensive players when he would run. And then
If we
Adrian
ever have an
Morrell,
offensive line like that again, we're going to see a lot of good runners for the Jets. That
right.
was one of our best offensive lines.
Yeah, well, I have high hopes for this second year guy. What's his name? The from Wisconsin.
Oh, Braylon Allen.
Yeah, I really have high hopes for this guy. I really like what I saw.
Yeah, he's got to get.
Yeah,
Yeah, if he said he's going to be more physical this year, he should
right.
be. Yeah.
Adrian Morrell, also with Thomas Jones, 3 consecutive years, 95 to 97. And he broke the 1,000 yard mark twice, 96, 97. Thomas Jones' career best was 2009, 1,402 rushing yards. And Ray, you're going to love this, 14 TDs. That's
Yeah.
pretty good. That's a heck of a year. Boy, that's a guy. He just,
They weren't all little ones either. He would break. He was
oh
one of those
yeah,
break a long one generally almost every game he'd break off, a nice long run.
right. Okay. All right. We're going to start now. This is a good segue because we're talking about running backs. 3 years ago, Brees Hall, we thought the guy was phenomenal. I mean, Ralph was gushing over him, Ray. I remember every week. And then he got hurt, and we saw like sparks of him really being good. I know the year after he was injured, he broke a play and he actually ran out of gas because
Yeah.
it was his first year back.
Yeah.
Was that against the Bills? I don't even.
Dallas, I think. Yeah.
Dallas. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, what are the chances he ever regains or comes close to regaining that form? And I'm just going to add something to it. I'll start with Ralph. Any chance the Jets re-sign him? Go ahead, Ralph.
I'd say no, they're not going to resign him because I don't think he will regain that. I think a couple of things. One thing, I feel like he should lose some weight. He looks like he was a little heavy in the rear for me. The other thing I'll give him, is that I think the Jets misused him last year. They were trying to turn him into a Thomas Jones type runner, a power runner, or in shorts yardage situations. It's not his game. It's just not his game.
Driving
Uh,
us crazy, like a third and
yeah,
one,
yeah. You
taking out
know,
the
I
other
don't know
guy, putting
how
him in.
long did it take Barkley to get back to his
2 years.
level?
I think for 2 years he was way under,
Yeah.
maybe
Well,
three.
yeah. So, there's hope, but I don't know. He just not the same running back. It's really a shame.
Right.
Just
Yep. Okay. How about you, Ray? What's your thoughts?
Well, the main thing I agree with Ralph, especially on, is that they kept trying to make him the short yardage guy, and that's not him. But he still looked pretty solid when they got him to the outside and some space.
uh,
He could outrun some guys. He could, DBs he could run over. He ain't running over linemen when we need a yard. That's where they should have just stuck with Braylon Allen. And I think even Aaron Glenn had said something to that effect about Braylon Allen, that he was how tough he was and how he's definitely the inside guy that we need. So as far as them keeping him, I mean, if he breaks out and has a year like, the first year, it'll be a tough decision. But and because of Barkley, cost of running backs is going back up a little bit. But we'll see if other teams follow that, or if it goes back to the trend of pass more than run type of thing. But unless he has a real big jump from last year, I don't see him keeping him, because I'm sure he's gonna want him, get a big contract as his, because they don't have long careers anyway. So he's gonna want a lot of money to re-sign if he has a good year.
Right. I agree with both you guys. We'll Look, we wish him the best. If he was to regain that form, it'd be great.
Yeah.
But the other part is the with the signing of Sauce and Garrett Wilson, it's like, how much money is going to be in the till, really. And then
Yeah.
I had heard that they're starting to talk to Elijah Verataka about extending him, which I'm not sure I would do it right away, to be honest with you.
No, I think I'd wait the year out on
I would
him.
wait it out too. Let's see if he could play,
Yeah.
16
That
of
would
the
be-
17 games, you know? All right. So anyway, um, we've been out of it for a number of months. We're back and we're going to see what happens in preseason. But right off the top right now, Ray, if you were to say, who do you think is going to be the best player in the Jets this year?
Well, I think one of the reasons I don't say Garrett Wilson is because I think without the guy on the other side, he's definitely going to be the focus of all the defenses. So they're going to try and shut him down. I think it's going to be, overall, you mean either side of the ball. You'd
Yeah,
say it's the
yeah.
best in general. Um, I am looking for, uh, I think Quinnen to have a really big year again on the defense, and I think it might even be his best year if he stays healthy. I think
It,
they've done a good job of kind of patching it guys back into the line so that it's not all on him. I like Quinn, and I think he's just one of these guys who will always be tough to handle, and I think he's going to have a big year.
I think that this guy Taylor's in his second year. I think a lot of it depends on how he improves. I know
Hmm.
Ralph, he picked him out very early in the year. It was a good pick, Ralph, but I got to see more from the other side too.
Yeah.
I'm going to go next before you, Ralph. Just a guy that I liked, I think we all liked, but we thought that at times he was a little weak in coverage, but he played hard on every play, and the Jets re-signed him. I think Jamie Sherwood's going to be the best Jet this year. He signed a huge contract or whatever, and he re-signed with them. And I really have high hopes for this guy. His teammates love him. They voted him MVP, so I'm going to go with Jamie and Sherwood. Ralph?
I'm going to go with Will McDonald. I feel like he's put on 15 pounds, and my one of the important things is I hope that Aaron Glenn gets in the official's ear about the holding that this guy. He needs
Please.
he could cause a ton of penalties. Um, yeah, Jamin Sherwood's an interesting pick, but I'll go with McDonald. Yeah,
It's interesting that we,
yeah,
we all pick defensive players.
yeah, yeah.
Our
Which,
offense is so inconsistent.
And
It's
none
hard.
of us picked Sauce Gardner, by the way.
no, no, no. But talking about that, if I'm just curious what the Jets averaged last year on offense. If I was to say, I'm just picking a number, 21 and a half points a game, averaging an offense for the season, and you had to pick over or under, Ralph, what would you pick?
Say that again. I'm sorry. I was
Averaging an on offense, 21 and a half points a game over the course of a season, what would you pick?
this year. I'll say under.
How about you, Ray?
Um, they they didn't do a bad job scoring last year, but I think there are too many question marks to say we'll go over that at this point. I'm going to say a little bit under.
Okay, I am for before I give mine, have something over you. Last year, oh, we were pretty close. They averaged
Yeah,
19.9 points per game.
Hmm.
yeah.
So I guess the question is, did their offense get better this year? Okay, I think the offensive line is better.
Yeah, that's the key, the offensive line.
Yeah.
But
And they are gonna run the ball. I'm gonna say that it's gonna go over. I think they're gonna run the ball better. I'm hoping that their special teams is going to bounce back. And by the way, talking about that, I was in love with Xavier Gibson the first year, last year, and I just want to know if do you feel like I find that he didn't improve 1 inch last year. Is that because Ray was the way he was used, or you think that he reached his peak as a rookie?
I think it might have been a little of both. I didn't like how they were using him, but I wasn't impressed with him as much when they did use him. So I think that's part of why he wasn't used as much as he wasn't making things happen. So I would actually even lean more towards we saw the best of him that first year, and I don't know that there's going to be any higher ceiling for him.
Okay, how about you, Ralph?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about that before. I think it's a little of both, but I just like Ray said, I think the other guy, Pritchard, makes guys miss more in the open field. I find him a much more intriguing player. I thought Gibson was a nice story his rookie year, but I think things sort of petered out with him, and with a new regime, maybe I don't know.
Ralph, if Pritchard pans out like we think he will, like we're all hoping, you, me, and Ray, we're big in this guy, and they had to cut one of the two guys, Corley or Gibson, who do they cut?
Uh, I think they cut Gibson.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. How about
Yeah.
you, Ray?
So I think Corley offers something a little different than Pritchard does, whereas Gibson's pretty much the same
You're keeping two of
player.
the same guy.
Yeah.
You're keeping the same guy if you keep Gibson.
So you
Yes.
so you agree, Gibson?
Yeah, because I think Corley, and I know he wasn't he didn't really pan out last year, but I'm not gonna I'm not giving up on him as far as that goes yet. It's a new regime, and maybe Aaron Glenn and the guys see something and see.
Well,
Oh,
yeah. I mean, it's 2 years. You got to give a guy 2 years. That's Tom Landry always said. If you don't get anything out of him after 2 years, it won't happen. But,
right.
that was his first year. And I don't know what was going on. It was like before the season even started, they decided we're not even going to attempt to give this guy any kind of time. It was
We
crazy.
we wanted him to play every
I
week. We were
know.
home. Let's see. The season was over. We
It
said,
was
let's see what we
terrible.
can
And they
do.
were nobody else
Yeah.
was doing anything. It was really bizarre.
Well,
And they
yeah.
love this guy. They love this guy so much. It was it was
Yeah. Well,
All
that's
right.
all. But they didn't give him a chance. I'm like, when are you going to figure out about it? You're not going to know in training camp. You're going to know what they do in games. You had every opportunity to do it, but
Maybe when he tossed the ball a little early when he crossed the goal line.
well, I don't know. Maybe he
that,
just didn't know the playbook. I don't know. What was the guy, the kid from Baylor, the receiver who
Mims. Him.
Mims?
Yeah. Oh boy. Let's not bring him up. Come on. All right.
It's another $50
Oh,
right
yeah,
there.
yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, Ralph. The next segment, one of my favorites. Who do you take? So go ahead, Ralph.
All right, so we go with a couple of old Jets who played the same position, and we'll decide on which we thought was better, who we thought was better. We're going to go with Kyle Clifton versus Marvin Jones.
I'll start. Problem Marvin Jones. Um, he didn't have a lot of longevity. Kyle Clifton, I think he did. So even though I liked Jones better, I would say Kyle Clifton. Ray?
Yeah, you're right as far as the longevity thing. But I like Marvin Jones when he was out there. I'd probably stick with Marvin.
Interesting. Both these guys were lifetime Jets. They
Yeah.
they never played for another team. Do you know that Kyle Clifton twice led the league in tackles and assists? I'm going to go with Clifton. I thought Marvin Jones was an underachiever and Clifton was an overachiever, and they were close, but I'll go with Clifton.
Yeah, and just for the record, I had said it at the time. His teammate, I guess, was Florida State, Ralph.
Oh, Derek, was he with Derek Brooks on that
Derek
team, or
Brooks. And the knock on him, I think he was a hair under 6 foot.
yeah, he was a little
I
small.
liked him better. And he was such a good pro. I wanted him
Oh,
so
he was
bad.
wasn't he? I think he's a Hall of Famer, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Tampa Bay. He played for.
Yeah, Marvin Jones, from the moment he got to college at Tallahassee, people were saying, the best linebacker in the country, and he was good, but he just never became great,
No.
but he
Yeah.
he carried that reputation into the draft, and he was picked like fourth in the draft.
Uh, it's a killer. I can't stand The most depressing thing, if you're a Jet fan, is to go over all the drafts going back to
I
1960.
know. The one that haunts me is passing on Ed Reed. we drafted Brian Thomas.
Yeah.
It's like,
To me, it's always going to be Dan Marino.
wow.
Uh,
I have that nightmare once a week.
the other one, Warren
It's just
Sapp.
unbelievable.
Warren
Sap,
Sapp,
yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle Brady.
Kyle
Yeah. Oh,
Brady,
Underrated.
all
another
right.
one.
I'm getting ill right now.
Well, we could say, Ref, who was the receiver that they took Corley over? They said he had the guy that panned out really well.
Oh, there were a bunch of receivers that I wanted
Last,
over
yeah,
Corley. I forget.
one of the guys. Yeah, he was really good. He could have been LSU. I'm not sure. One of the second ones. Anyway, okay. Ralph, any more of before we get to the trivia and close us out on who do you take? Or is that it?
No, I think that's so did one of you guys take both you guys take Jones or
No, I took
you took
Clifton.
Clifton. Okay, so
Yeah,
Clifton
I
is the
took
winner.
Clifton. Yeah.
So
So I like Jones a little better, but Clifton, I mean, look, give him his due.
numbers wise, yeah, he
Yeah.
was a really solid guy.
He was. All right, Ralph, we're going to go to the trivia question. It's actually going to be raised because I have no idea.
No, that's a total
So
guess.
repeat the question.
So we're talking kickers. So I just wanted to know. We know that Pat Leahy did played the most games as a Jet kicking. What place kicker has had the second most amount of games as a Jet as a place kicker?
I'm just going to guess Carrie Blanchard.
Carrie Blanchard. Wow.
I don't know. And I know that's not true. Could be Nick Falk. Go ahead, Ray.
Bobby Howfield.
Oh,
Bobby Howfield. You guys both you skipped, and the answer is actually Nick Falk.
oh, Nick Falk. Yeah, I
Yeah,
did say
well,
that.
he had five more than Jim Turner. How could you forget Jim
Wow,
Turner?
which
Yeah.
is good.
So
Yeah.
and just a quick one. Who's what punter has punted the most games for the Jets?
Punted the most games. It's not Curly Johnson.
Curly Johnson is second.
Ooh, I couldn't even punted the most games for the Jets. I don't know. Ray?
70s, maybe a little
Steve
80s.
O'Neill, no, Steve O'Neill was the 60s
Yeah.
and
So
70s.
yeah.
I couldn't remember punters to save my life.
I know it's really Chuck Ramsey.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Yeah. Okay. Wow, that's amazing.
And the final bonus question, which I mentioned before, a guy who started for the Jets Super Bowl winner in Super Bowl III was once asked in an emergency to kick an extra point, which he actually made. Who was the starter? And I'll give you a hint. He actually had a big part in one of probably the three or four biggest plays in the history of the Jets.
Um, Johnny Sample.
Nope.
Go ahead.
Oh boy. Three biggest plays in Jets history. Holy cow. I can't even come up with anyone because I'm trying to think of who might have been able to step on in there.
Yeah, I mean the guy. You wouldn't think a guy at his position would be doing it. Obviously, he must have had some experience at some point in his life.
Okay, Ralph, who was it? You killed it.
Ralph Baker.
I
Oh,
was trying to
wow.
think of a defensive guy. I was thinking
Yeah,
Larry Grantham, and I thought, no, it wasn't Grantham. But I could,
close. Yeah, close.
yeah, I was in the right area, just couldn't.
Pat Ryan kicked two extra points during his career too. Apparently,
Right. Yeah. Which is
two
interesting.
for two. They should get him back.
I'm just trying to figure out what other wide receivers are available,
Yeah,
free
really.
agents.
Keenan Allen is still out there. I'm sure
Keenan
he's like,
Allen, he's 33. I mean, he's going to be signed. We know that by someone,
Yeah,
right? We'll see.
he's a good, he's a good second receiver. I
yeah.
mean, I would prefer Amari Cooper, but if they settled on Keenan Allen,
Is
I'd be.
Amari Cooper like a flaky personality, Ray, or is he just what's the deal? He
I don't
moves
think he
around
was
so much.
never a problem anywhere that I
Yeah,
ever. Um, I was a little surprised that is it Cleveland that got rid of him?
yeah.
Cleveland. Yeah. Is
I, but they had pulled in whoever from
right.
Miami was.
Ray, did Tyler Boyd sign with someone?
See, they kept the three guys, was it? But it was Chase, uh,
Higgins.
Higgins, and
I don't know
Was
if Boyd signed
one
him.
of them?
Hey, is Mike Williams still available? Hey, yeah, I wouldn't mind having him back.
Mike
He
Williams.
never got a fair chance. Rogers threw him under the bus. That was pathetic.
Mike Williams retired. He
Did
went
he?
back. Yeah, he went back to San Diego at the end of last year, I think, and then retired this year.
Oh, he did retire.
Yeah, he called it quits. It's like that
Right.
Rogers experiment was so
A
mind shit.
lot of bad experiments with
Ty-
Rogers.
Tyler Boyd, according to this, he played for the Titans last year,
I
but
was just say the Titans, yeah.
he's a free agent. I'm sure he didn't have a good year with the Titans. He's
Yo,
20.
they didn't have a quarterback,
No,
so yeah.
I think he's like 29. I think
Yeah.
He's
I
not that
would
old.
I would take him over Lazard any day.
Oh yeah.
He's kind of a Ray. He's kind of a possession receiver,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he wasn't the main guy. Obviously, Chase is the main guy, and then Higgins is the
Higgins.
guard. But
Yeah,
uh, but he was a solid receiver. It's just that they had I can't think of the third guy that they kept as well. So they got all the receivers still there in Cincy, and so he was the odd man out. And I'm
right,
not sure the Titans got rid of him, but that might be what's holding us back. It might be that
right.
Yeah.
much.
He's 6'2". Is he? Do you know anything about his personality? Is he well grounded or all? Or no, you don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but
It's
I never heard
interesting.
that about him, so I don't know that
I,
it's
I, I thought he was really good. I remember one playoff game. He was really good. I remember going.
yeah.
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 So
Ray,
all right.
are you closer to Cincinnati or Cleveland?
I'm basically right in between. It's
You're in
about
between.
I mean, 2.5 hours each way.
So which games do you get on the regular TV? Do they get you to the Cincy or the Cleveland games?
Uh, Generally, it's going to always be the Browns, but they usually, if they're on at the same time, depending on who they're playing, I might get both. Because if one's
Right.
playing an NFC team and the other's playing an AFC team, they might.
Right.
Yeah.
We
But
bef Yeah, go ahead, Ray. I'm sorry.
the Browns are always number one in this area.
Yeah, before we sign off, Ray, give us a 30-second capsulation of the Ohio State Buckeyes this year. Any ideas?
Oh, they're going to be rated number one going out. But a lot's going to be about the quarterback
Who's their
situation.
quarterback? Yeah.
I'm trying to think of his name now. They were just, but it's up in the air still. There's two guys. One guy they thought was going to be named the starter just in the beginning, and I'm trying to think of his.
Are they both transfers?
No, I don't believe they both are. I think both of them came in. Uh, Actually, it came in old order. One guy's a big. Why can't I think of his name? Big kid who has a good arm, seems to have a good grasp of the offense. The other guy's more of
Julian
the
Sayin
Julian Sands. That's it.
and Lincoln Kineholtz. Another
Yeah.
one. And there's
Um,
a freshman they got. He's supposed to be really good.
yeah,
Um, Tavian St. Clair, but he's out.
that's the one we're talking about
Yeah,
too. But
yeah, I heard about him
Julian
too.
Sands had the inside track, but the way they're talking now, it's not necessarily the case. But Julian Sands sounds like he's gonna
Right. Yeah.
he's not necessarily a multi-purpose in terms of running and passing per se, but I don't think he's just a pocket passer either. So I
Right.
think he's
Okay.
interested. I want to see, neither of them got to play really
Right.
much last. I'm
Quick.
I'm
Yeah.
interested in some
Quick
games.
last question. All right, Ralph, and I'll go with Ray. He was picked up by the Buffalo Bills. Former Jet Elijah Moore over under receptions 68.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Under? Is that for his career?
Remember when he was a Jet? He was like the greatest athlete in the world in preseason. Ray, how about you?
Yeah, I can't see him doing over 60. I don't think he's going to be the focus of the offense. So,
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
go over.
I think he still has his moments.
Yeah,
He's not
I'm gonna go
better.
over. So
Okay.
this
I mean, he could turn into,
yeah, right,
Josh Allen's favorite, for all you know, but no,
right.
I don't see it.
All right. So with that, for Ray Clifford, Ralph Sharega, Marty Schupak, and Jets Rewind. Hey, check out our YouTube channel. Jets Rewind is at Schupak Sports, and we could be heard over, as I said, all the platforms, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, all that. So for all of us, until next time.